And so one interesting thing for historians to think about with a Rhodes statue is um, things, material objects, things that historians take seriously can often fade into the landscape, fade into the woodwork, and are only noticed by certain people. But then circumstances can shift and they become lightning rods. They become sites of contest, for people who are struggling to overturn inequities and inequities that have deep historical origins. And so this shift has taken place, just recently in the United States with the George Floyd protests, resulting in many statues being pulled down. In South Africa, the statue of Rhodes that I'm referring to, the one that was on the campus at University of Cape Town, it became the subject of protests a few years ago. The best known protester was a man. His name was Chumani Makwele, and he was a member of a political party called the Economic Freedom Fighters. And one day he stood out in front of the Rhodes statue, and he had a portable toilet in his hand, and it was full of shit, and he pitched it onto the statue of Rhodes. And what did this mean? Well, Chumani Makwele was he was a well-known protester. He had been arrested a few years earlier for giving the finger to South African President Jacob Zuma. And shortly after this food throwing incident, as it was called in South Africa, he got in some trouble about harassing people. Anyway, at that demonstration, it looked superficially that he was just defacing a statue, right? He was just throwing nasty stuff on it. But what he was calling attention to was continued lack of infrastructure, particularly in the townships in South Africa, those locations that were segregated in the earlier part of the 20th century, and where many African people lived. In his community, people still did not have routine access to running water and to toilets, and they'd been given these portable toilets.